This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
And we're back.
So did you read Grit or Deliver Grit when you were a kid growing up?
No, but you always saw it around, you know, Grit and with the frog and what's this all about? So.
Well, when I was a kid back in the Blue Ridge Mountains, we had a neighbor boy who sold Grit, and newsboys all over the country carried the Grit magazine. And so back then it was a tabloid, but I remember, I have great memories of reading Grit, and it was sort of a newsy thing for rural America. It's like rural America's newspaper, I guess you would put it. But it's been around forever, and of course it's published right here in Topeka.
In Topeka,
Ogden Publications. And my good friend Hank Will is the editor, and some kind of higher up now that Brian Welch left Ogden. And Brian was just a phenomenal guy, phenomenal writer. Hank is amazing, and of course Hank farms and ranches, and he makes knives. He does his beautiful little bone knives. He just, such talented people we have in Kansas.
What I'd like to know though is why the frog?
I forgot to ask about that. I don't know. We'll have to, all right. Hank, you call me. Call me. Let's take a look. Dietrich Lamad was a 23-year-old German immigrant working for a Pennsylvania newspaper. In December 1882, the paper began a Saturday edition titled Grit, which included local news items, editorials, and humorous tidbits. No one seems to know how the name Grit came about. When the paper was slated to close, Lamad convinced two other men to become his partners in saving the publication. He went through 7 partners and accrued a mountain of debt. Lamad knew that local readership would not be enough to keep the new publication going, so he began traveling the region searching for sales agents and news correspondents. He sold his partners on the idea of a contest, still legal in those days, in which readers would send in coupons for chances at winning various prizes. The drawing was held Thanksgiving 1885, with 3 out-of-towners and 2 local subscribers winning the 5 grand prizes. When the dust cleared, Grit had 14,000 subscribers and $400 in the bank, with all the bills paid. The partners gave themselves a raise from $12 a week to $15. It was about 1891 that Lamad hit upon another grand idea: newsboys to sell Grit directly to the public, and the newspaper began to expand to small towns across the country. In the 1950s, Grit continued to be sold by newsboys, with about 30,000 carriers delivering more than 700,000 copies. Stauffer Communications of Topeka purchased the magazine in 1983. It was later sold to Ogden Publications, also headquartered in Topeka. Editor Hank Will said the newsprint format was redesigned to a glossy bi-monthly in 2006. The focus was narrowed from a rural newspaper to a, quote, positive-spirited niche magazine devoted to the rural lifestyle. He acknowledges many readers do not live in a rural setting, but manage container gardens or raise chickens in Chicago somehow. He also points to the sense of community created by the magazine, people helping one another, encouraging and offering advice. Hank said even though the magazine has evolved, it remains true to its roots. Founder Dietrich Lamad said in one of his notes to his sons, "Whenever possible, suggest peace and goodwill toward men. Give our readers courage and strength for their daily task. By such a course we can do much to improve the minds and lives of the millions of people who read Grit and bring them a higher realization of their duties in life." It is that attitude that has made Grit one of the longest-running publications in the country. Hank said it has been a part of the American tapestry, particularly in the heartland and rural areas throughout the nation, for many, many years. If the old adage could be rewritten, it would be, as American as Mom, apple pie, and Grit.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe. Here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center, Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.